Or
Testing 1 2. All right. Thank you for joining me. My name is Jaquab Ben Yisrael and Jehovah. Thank you for this opportunity to share to the best of my ability my inner light, to redeem the time, take advantage of the time that you've given me to be on the earth, to encourage my brethren, my brothers and sisters to do the same. I ask for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. In your name, I give thanks and pray. All right. Thanks for joining me. My name is Jaquab Ben Yisrael, and I do not feel good, so I don't think this is going to be a normal long video. Oh, man. It's hot and it's cool here in Arizona, but today I don't feel good. So I don't think I'm going to have a long video like normal, but I'm going to go as long as I can. Oh, man. So thank you for joining me. And before I begin, as I always do, I want to introduce you to the website for Universal Faithists of Cosmin, because this is a channel for brethren who can subscribe to the OAHSPE Bible, brethren who are faithists, called faithists, according to the OAHSPE Bible, the OAHSPE. This is a channel that's dedicated to brethren who are serious about their spirituality, who want to make the resurrection, brethren who are really very, very special on the face of the earth in the sense that they have the ability to tap in to their spiritual side and then to hear the voice of the Creator within them and to do something that is um, unheard of in um, the um, to do something that is very disregarded, very unheard of in the world today, which is to take on the the knowledge of the light, which calls for us to take on ourselves, which calls for us to make the resurrection, to serve one another, to learn, to put on knowledge of the light, of the OAHSPE, of the Creator. It's a very high calling. We're up against tremendous odds in the sense that we live in a world where we are greatly outnumbered. The ratio has got to be at least 1 to every 4 or 5,000 people. For every one, there's one faithist to every 4 or 5 thousand people. I don't know, using my math. 8 billion people in the world today, I think. So that probably sounds about right. So far as the ratio, the number of people who are under the vibration to make the resurrection, to take their life and to realize the brevity of our life and to redeem the time while we on the face of the earth. That's who this channel is for. The creator, he tells us how to do that. He gives us the knowledge that sustains us, allows us to put the world and the influences of the world, put it behind us. Not 100%, but enough to keep us standing on our own 2 feet as we walk, believing the things that are being shown to us, trusting, believing that there's a resurrection to be made. And it's one hell of a journey that we're on. It's a hell of a journey, man. And so this channel is dedicated to try to help anybody who's interested to try to relate to you what our daily experiences like, just what we are learning and how we are just trying to um, just to redeem the time. It's a journey really that really only a faithist knows. Only a faithist knows. We see the darkness and deception that's in the world. It's not too much we can do about it because the Creator, He let us have free will. We can't force nobody, even though all the things we say make 100% sense. All the arguments we make for the Creator and the light and the knowledge that He's showing us in the OAHSPE, it makes 100% sense. No one will disagree with us, but the pull of the flesh is so strong that it can keep you in bondage all the way until the end of your reality on the earth. Now, on the channel here, I got the website for the Universal Faith of Cosmin. They have some ministries that you can see right here on the screen. I will be broadcasting the Bible study this Wednesday, so tune in if you want. The Bible study where brother leads it and gives a lesson on things that just some things that he is learning that he likes to share with us, to help us, to build us up, to give us good understanding, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. The Wednesday Bible study, I'll be broadcasting it. There's a healing basket also on the screen here, and the Saturday meditation, and then the creed of a faithist, what a faithist is. We have faith in the all person and collective wisdom that is without gender. As faithists, we live by and follow these guidelines inspired by the OAHSPE Bible and the work of the Creator. We understand that supremacy exists only in a weak, fearful mind. We strive to do good works in the Creator's name. We respect others' opinions with understanding and openness as long as their opinions do not diminish the dignity or free will of anyone. We are willing to accept differences from others with no bias. We treat others and ourselves with love and forgiveness. We are kind through our actions and whole being. We give others the freedom we all deserve. It is easy to demand free will, but it is challenging to allow others to exercise their free will. We are able to admit our mistakes, take responsibility for our actions. With these guidelines in mind, it is easier to understand that the foundation of faithism is the study and pursuit of Amrath and Heba. Amrath is divine forgiveness, Aheba is unconditional love. For faithists, the cultivation of Amrath and Aheba are essential lessons for soul growth. Many faithists adhere to a vegan diet to reduce suffering, but being a vegan does not give anyone supremacy. All right, and then some brethren who they will offer you a free OAHSPE. A free OAHSPE, man. If you're just maybe just now coming into the OAHSPE faithism, you're a little short and you'd like to have a OAHSPE sent to you, you can contact these brethren. If you can't purchase it on Amazon, send them an email. They'll send it to you for free. They'll send it to you for free. And then, in addition to that, there's a 6-volume set that the Unknown Many have put out that if you are interested and you would like to have the 6-volume set, which is a supplement to the OAHSPE to help, it's like a guide that has interesting facts and uh, verses in there to grab your attention and help you to navigate your way through the OAHSPE. Um, you can contact me in the video commentary section. Send me email. Contact me if you're a little short. It's on sale at Amazon for the lowest possible price it can go. If you little tight on funds, you can contact me. I'll send it to you for free. Also, in the link, there are other links there for things, ministries that give an opportunity, really, man, to redeem the time. You know, I'm really high on the Books to Prison ministry. I got a link in there where you can send the OAHSPE to prisons and all over the nation, and really, that's what it's all about. The Creator, we here, we on the earth, and I find as I learn and grow in the OAHSPE, it's a constant learning to to take the self off and the vibration of the self, the vainglory, the pull of the flesh, to be entertained, to be preoccupied with itself. One thing that's very odious to the world about what the Creator teaches is that at some point, if you honest with yourself and you tap into the Creator's voice and then you pick up the OAHSPE and you begin to learn, you're going to see one of the first lessons is you have to do battle with yourself. You have to learn to try to serve other brethren. You have to learn to change your way of thinking. And it's not easy to do, man. You're talking about putting down the, um, the mindset that we have grown up with that we are pretty much used to. You're talking about a whole change of person that the Creator gets you started on, basically to take you and to take away your focus on the self and to turn it outward to to turn it outward in service to your brethren. Now, there is a degree of self-examination that the OAHSPE it talk about, and it's to where you tend to where he is calling us to examine ourselves. Like at the end of the day, you do like an assessment of the things you said, things you did, you know, to try to sharpen yourself. That's one of the things about the OAHSPE that that's not very enticing for people to hear to when life is already tough, man. Especially in our day where I hear a lot of people. I look at a lot of social media, and I don't know. I mean, you tend to wonder what you can believe, what is for show and what is for real. I think the Creator has put a spirit in us to help us to discern what is pretty genuine and what is not, you know. And from what I see, man, coupled with the situation, the geopolitical situation in the world, there's a lot of dissatisfaction going on. And talking about mainly with people trying to keep up, and it's hard on them. Usually money is somewhere in the mix, not enough of it, don't make enough spending, you know, not enough savings. Um, and whenever you have that situation, you know what's going to happen. And so for what the Creator calls mankind, calls people, faithists to go through, it's kind of like um, what's a good word for a double whammy? You dealing with yourself, you dealing with the situation in the world. And that leads me to this. I want to say something real quick. I got a brother in the link in the video comment section of the channel here. Brother Bob Baer, his Thursday ministry, I talk about a lot. Share it. Thursday ministry, you got a link there. You can send him an email. He'll send you the link to join them on Thursday, 40 minutes. They get together, they pray, they have intentions, they pray over that sort of thing. And I wanted to share a little bit about how he's doing I invited him on the channel. He's going to come on at his earliest convenience. And I have a special appreciation for brethren like him because he's very controversial. And one thing I realize when it comes to something like the OAHSPE and it's new, it's going against the grain, I appreciate anybody who comes out with information that is not very popular. And that's what this brother has done. I invited him on my channel. When he tells me he's ready, I'm going to have him come on and we're going to have a dialogue. And this is the brother who I've been referring to has been coming out against John Newbrough, the man who's been he's played a part in the publishing of the OAHSPE. And I come to find out that through Brother Bears, through his ministry, matter of fact, let me see if I can bring it up on screen. So if anybody is looking at this video, you can check out the work that he's done yourself. Let me see if I can bring it up because I've been talking about him a lot and trying to turn brethren on to his channel. This is it right here. Now, he's done a lot of controversial work, pointing out some things, some of the less savory things about John Newbrough, who has had a part in the publishing of the OAHSPE that many of you brethren probably don't know about. Now, one of the things I really appreciate in the work that he is doing is that the human psyche is very prone to worshiping men. That's one thing I'm very leery of whenever I'm in a situation or it comes to listening to somebody or whatever, especially a situation like spirituality. One of the first things I look out for now is I look at a man's character. I look at his character. I look to see if he has a weakness for himself, promotes himself, glorifies himself, that sort of thing, puts himself, I'm trying to find the right word to describe someone who injects himself in a way that brings attention to themselves. Now, I say that to say this, that one of the things that the OAHSPE, it features a image of John Newbrough. Now, at first, I didn't see anything wrong with it, but as I look back, I learned that I was starting to look at him in a way that was not good, where you look at someone who the Creator has used to do a work, and you could tend to look at them higher than what you should look at them as. You can begin to idolize them in a sense, fall into idolatry. And so even something like this, where he puts his photo, he joins his photo to OAHSPE, I came to think that that's the problem, but only between me and the Creator. I don't understand how the Creator, he calls us to put the, you know what I mean? The acclamations and the attention getting and the self-seeking, put all that aside, man, when you're talking about the Creator. And at one point, I begin to wonder why he would allow himself to do that. But it was just my own little, it was just something I just kept in my own, it was just my own little disagreement. I never, I began to wonder why he would do something like that. And to me, it says something, and it confirms the suspicion that I have in me about. I'm taught, the Creator's taught me to be very leery of the human need for attention, for self-seeking, for glory, for acclamation. I'm very leery of that. And so here's the brother's channel, and he's come out with some very unsavory things about John Newbro that I didn't know. He came out with some very unpopular things. And usually, when you're involved with a small group of brethren, you stay away from bringing out things that will, quote unquote, rock the boat. That'll rock the boat. But this brother, it didn't stop him. It has not stopped him from bringing out things that brethren should know about. It hasn't stopped him, and so I'm featuring his channel. I want to uh, point people to the brother's channel so that we could learn how, why one of the things the Creator says is that the OAHSPE is not a perfect book, and this is one of the reasons why. Because as it turns out, this John Newbro, he's really injected himself into trying to become the face of the OAHSPE. Now, you may say, oh, it ain't nothing, it's a little thing, and that would be cool, but to me, it tells me something. It tells me something about this man. And then when you listen to what his life was, things that he did in his life, the whole point is that it should help each of us to be careful about the spirit in men to glorify themselves. The spirit in men to glorify themselves. And it should make sense when you read the OAHSPE, and then you read about how Louis Mang, when he found out the Creator's plans for America, and that angel went back and told him, hey, the Creator's going to do this with America. He's going to use America as the foundation for the cosmic era and the kingdom on the earth. And that angel told Louis Mang. Louis Mang found out about it, and he sent the pilgrims over to get them ready to meet the Quakers when they got here, to cause them all kind of problems, and to inject himself in the place of the Creator by giving the pilgrims their religion to bring over, to steal the glory and the honor of the Creator. And the way you do that is you align your agenda as closely as you can with the truth. You align your agenda as closely as you can with the truth. And that's what Newbro did with the OAHSPE. Now, the brother Bob Baer, he's a degreed linguist. That brother is a linguist, meaning he is able to take writings and works of antiquity and determine authorship. It sounds like something a linguist could do. Now, while that is not 100%, it is definitely enough to present conclusive evidence as to the authorship of the works that someone has claimed. A linguist, they have access to certain software that can compare writings and determine authorship. So that's why I'm bringing this out, because evidently the book of Sapa and the book of Jehovah's Kingdom on Earth, the brother is concluded were injected by John Newbro. And I found it interesting because the book of Sapa, it talks a lot about symbols and signs. It talks about Egyptian deities. And I caught that, but I thought it's part of the OAHSPE, so it must be legitimate. And I just totally skipped over where the OAHSPE talks about, it condemns intermediaries. even though I knew it, intermediaries. It talks about the the cosmic era, how we each are directly able to come to the creator now based on our own inner light. And I totally overlooked that. I totally overlooked it while going through the OAHSPE, thinking that it's in the book, it's in book form, so it must be legitimate. That's why I'm presenting the work that this brother has done as really a debt of gratitude that he opened my understanding, because I had suspicions about SAPA in the sense that it didn't seem to register with me. Now, Jehovah's Kingdom on Earth, that did register with me as a part of the OAHSPE, anointed, it sounds good. And I come to find out that new bro, that he was, just look at the videos and you'll come to the same conclusions I've come to. And your inner light should determine whether or not it's legitimate or not. Mine, I listened to the brother and I was very thankful that he points out what he points out. Helps you to understand why the creator says the OAHSPE is not a perfect work. And it makes all the sense in the world that false gods would try to inject something in the OAHSPE to catch brethren and lead them astray. And evidently it probably has. It probably has. Some brethren are probably picked up the OAHSPE, looked at SAPA, looked at the symbology and how it talks about Egyptian rites and ceremonies and, cannibalism and probably have been turned off by it. You cannot underestimate the things that false gods that they do. And I tend to believe that, it just sounds just like them, that they would inject something into the OAHSPE, whatever little bit they can. I think for the most part, it's a fantastic book. And I think there's enough in it for us to lay our foundation to where we know what righteousness is. We know what righteousness is. And if we internalize it long enough, then it will develop an immunity in us so that when we read and we read and we read, that we will be more sensitive to things that don't sound right. We'll be able to pick up on things, even in the OAHSPE, that probably should not be there. To me, it just confirms the seriousness of not going to sleep. We as faithists, we are in a situation where to make the resurrection, man, it's not, this is the situation that we're in is just absolutely amazing to me. How there are so few brethren, so outnumbered, and it's not really appreciated except by you brethren who are called to come into the light and make the resurrection. So this channel is just I just hope that this little channel here, it can help anybody to be focused on the reality of the deception that's in the world and to redeem the time while we are here. I can't emphasize enough, man, the depth of what we are called into. The depth, the what's a good word for the levels of spiritual deception that we have to go up against. So I wanted to, before I get, the name of the video is called Spiritual Premature Birth. It's called Premature Birth. Creator gave it to me the other day. I was thrilled to be able to share it with you. I think it's a good study. Before I get to it, I feel led to talk about um, something that I was looking at before I came on live, and it has to do with this right here, man. Being able to stand your own ground, individuality. I've been talking about that for a little while now. With that brother revealing the things he revealed about New Bro, the things that he revealed, it taught me, it confirmed in me the importance, a little more importance about individuality, meaning the ability to stand against the whole world when the whole world is telling you, we don't care about what you think, we don't care about what you're doing. When you see the power of the earth and it's taking the whole world away, what I mean by that, you know, on my video on YouTube, on my feed, I get all kinds of videos. And I see these videos of women doing men wrong, men doing women wrong, women cheating on men, men cheating on women. I've been seeing a lot of those videos lately. And the common denominator is they are overtaken by their own flesh. People who are overtaken by their own flesh, they're not happy with the person they're with. They don't feel they're listened to. They don't feel they're treated the way they want to be treated. I even seen a video, the parents, they brought this girl a car. She didn't like it. The dad said he worked extra shifts to get it for her. She didn't like it. She showed her distaste for it. You know, I saw videos where the woman was dressed up and the guy took her to a place that she didn't feel was nice enough. She was in heels, she was in a skin tight dress, and she chewed him out that he would take her to such a place. You know, and the same with the guys. I'm not coming down on the women, you know. I'm just talking about the life that I've seen over the internet and how people treat each other. It's a common denominator. You know, some guy, he doesn't like the way a woman prepared his food, or she didn't say this to him, or she didn't say that, and he got all bent out of shape and, you know, don't trust her and jealous. And it's a common denominator that the OAHSPE talks about until it's blue in the face, man. The common denominator, the problem that you can easily see, especially in Western relationships, the problem is the self, the Satan of the self. You got two people, and I recall experiencing that when I was in relationship. When I had relationships, I experienced the same thing in myself and the person that I had the relationship with, especially when I was younger. You don't know what it is when you're younger, why you can't get along, why all these problems, you know. And even though you could ask a young couple and they would probably say it has something to do with money, even deeper than that, it's a love of self. It's the love of self, man. And the creator covers it perfectly. It's the tetrax. It's the influence to, just like in the OAHSPE, Satan said to man, possess what thy will, or something to that effect. Remember? Teaching us to be preoccupied with ourselves, with our feelings, with our emotions at the expense of other people. The love of self, man. And these videos I look at, that's exactly what the problem is. The problem is it's exactly what the problem is, fault finding with the other, nitpicking, dissatisfaction. It's the common denominator, and it lights such a big forest fire. That's the common denominator. Because people don't have a foundation. They're not taught anything else. No one is teaching them to identify identify what vainglory is, identify the flesh, target the flesh when it's influencing you to seek your own desire, your own will, your own proclivities. Target that, be on the lookout for that, and do battle against it. Fortunately, that's what one of the things that the Creator, he talked to us about. How to remove the weight that's on all of our shoulders. How do we get rid of that weight? Oh man, I really don't feel good. I don't feel good at all, man. Whew, boy. Oh man. Oh man. So, one of the things that we can give thanks for the Creator, is the way he shows us these things. These are invisible things. The spiritual influence that teaches us to remember in the OAHSPE it says if you don't give man a roadway to fulfill his potential, if you don't give him a roadway to fulfill his potential, he'll go backwards. He'll go backwards. And we live in a world where people do not have a roadway to fulfill their potential. And then the they turn to the foundation that they have, which is usually of the world, which is usually of the flesh. And then all these problems enter in until they lay a foundation, a righteous foundation, the OAHSPE, where the Creator is showing us. He's got to show us these things that are invisible to the eyesight. If he don't show us, man, we'll never be able to identify what the problem is. And we live in a world of people like that, man. That's why the light, more than anything, is the most needed thing in the world. Because other than that, people will just go on wrecking themselves worse and worse every day. And it's on a national level. The lack of understanding is having a global effect now, and the people who rule over us, who lead us, the lack of understanding, the lack of knowledge is really beginning to have an effect on the world. I've been talking a whole lot about the coming days. That still hasn't gone away. Matter of fact, it's getting worse and worse because of the situation in the Middle East has not gone away. Oil has stopped flowing. Both routes where it was going out, both of them have been closed up. But back to individuality here on the screen, I did a little study on it, talking about how important it is for a person to be able, for us as faithists, to be able to be so convinced to the righteousness of the OAHSPE. that it lays a foundation in us. It lays an unshakable foundation in us that the world cannot move us off of. And I hope nobody takes that for granted, because it's going to be found out whether or not we have lay our foundation is whether it's solid enough to withstand the things that are coming on the earth. To me, when I read the OAHSPE, the creator, it seems like he does allow us to be tested, our fortitude, our dignity, our character. It seems like he really allows us to be tested that way. I think that when you grow up in religion, you can fall into this trap of thinking that you can take things for granted. You come into the OAHSPE, it should slowly dawn on you that the creator, he when he when the creator gets a hold of us, one of the things he impresses upon us is the work that we have to do to ourselves so that we can stand on our own, so that we can reflect who we 100% truly are, which is that's what making the resurrection is, for us to get to a point where we are 100% who we truly are, without any pollution, without any flavor of the earth in us, without any vibration of the atmosphere of the earth. That's what it's all about for us as faithists. The creator, he does that to us for glory and honor's sake. An amazing thing. I love it personally, the way anything worth having, it's not easy, man, you know? And here we're talking about the resurrection, the opportunity to make the resurrection. Nobody else will talk about it. We can't go anywhere and listen to the media and have someone talk to us about the seriousness of taking the reality and to make the resurrection, or even how to do it. That's where we live. Individuality, standing on your own. Yes, according to OAHSPE, this is a central and repeated principle, to stand on our own. And I'm partly bringing it up again because of this brother here. It takes a lot of fortitude, man. It takes a lot of fortitude to do this type of thing when there's so few of us anyway. We need all the fellowship that we can get. And for him to come out with this information, man, and it should open your eyes. It opened mine, and that's why I am thankful, man. I seem to gravitate towards the fringe spirits of any group, man. You know, I don't know why, but I just seem to gravitate to people like him who bring out controversial things, and he lets you decide for himself. So according to the OAHSPE, this is a central and repeated principle, the ability to stand on your own. Jehovah designed man from the beginning to become an independent being capable of standing on his own, both in corporeal life, especially after death. Especially, that caught my attention. Especially after death, man, in the spirit worlds. Especially after death. It's like right now we got the benefit of the body. We're kind of anchored to the body. We're kind of anchored to the decisions that we make. We can take, it's something about being in the body that helps us to not be what's a good word for without a foundation. You know, we seem to have to not be able to, we seem to have to be more grounded in what we say and do while we're in the body, as opposed to the spirit. You kind of get the impression that when you're in the spirit, you know, your mind can just go here, there, everywhere, all at once, you know, and you're not as grounded as you are on the earth. Now, that's just my own inner light. Um, I might be wrong, but I think that that's what this is saying here, especially after death in the spirit world. It says Jehovah designed man from the beginning to become an independent being capable of standing on his own, both in corporal life and especially after death in the spirit worlds. Dependency is treated as a temporary necessity for the newborn. Dependency is treated as a temporary necessity for the newborn. Whether a physical infant, a young infant, or a newly deceased Essene, a young spirit, somebody older but they cross over. But perpetual reliance on others is contrary to the plan of resurrection and growth. But perpetual reliance on others is contrary to the plan of resurrection and growth. Self reliance, man. Self reliance. In the earliest history, man was created helpless. I just want to emphasize that self reliance, man. We are the resurrection, part of it is self reliance. Only knowledge will help us to do that. Knowledge. As we gain knowledge, then we can gain self reliance, individuality. In the earliest history, man was created helpless, unable to even stand upright or understand the Creator's voice. Angels were sent to raise him upright and teach him. The physical uprightness is a symbol of the larger spiritual requirement. Man must learn to stand on his own spiritual feet. Thinking about it, we live in a world where people are easily swayed, man. They look to famous people, to sports stars, to movie stars, to people who are charismatic, who are out front. People look to other people to be like them. They don't know how to be themselves. And in the spiritual, if you have that type of foundation where you don't know who you are, you don't know what you believe, you got no foundation, then there's a saying, he who believes anything, what is it? He who stands for anything will fall for nothing. Is that the way, is that the correct saying? He who believes anything, he who stands for nothing will fall for anything. He who stands for nothing will fall for anything. If we don't learn what we believe for real and stand on it, so that when the winds blow and the rain falls and the earthquake hits, that we're not shaken. If we don't get to that point, then we could fall for anything. We could fall for a charismatic spirit. We can be deceived. And not to say that there's 100% immunity from deception. It could happen. But one of the things with the OAHSPE that's beautiful is that it lays a foundation, man. You know, it lays a good, solid foundation. The Creator says, okay, learn to hear my voice. What is his voice? Righteousness. When you are meditating, when you are thinking, when you are alone, when you are going inside yourself, when you are searching yourself, when you are examining yourself, then you know that voice will come to you where it's telling you this is what righteousness is. This is what happened today. Somebody got you upset. You don't want to do that. You're here, you're trying to develop an immunity to that. Other people, they are either they're they are there for you to use them, either for them to help you or for you to learn from their vibration. They may be under a lower vibration, they may be under a higher vibration. If it's a higher vibration, copy them. If it's a lower vibration, learn a lesson and develop an immunity to it as something that you do not want to be. Take note of the people that are around you in this world who are not making the resurrection, don't want to, don't are ignorant of the light and don't care. Take note of that. Don't take that for granted, man. You know, the sheer numbers of people in this world who are tied to the earth is a everyday That's a everyday warning, man. That's a everyday warning. You know, the power of the earth and the power of the flesh. I can't forget them videos, man. You know, and I'm not putting women down. It's just that the majority of them were about men who were taking their women on dates. And, you know, we live in a society where it's kind of like tradition is the man, he invites the woman out, you know, takes her, you know, and the problems were centered around her sensitivity to her own self, her own vibration. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go, you know, you're not treating me right. You're not, you know, you're not acting right. Give me money, pay for the meal, pay for my rent. You know, it was a lot of flesh that I saw in the videos that I saw. It's a lot of flesh. Treat me this way. You did me wrong. You said that. A lot of that is on the internet. And I'm sure it's a lot of it that's made up, but I think there's enough of that stuff out there to where it's genuine. People take their cameras and they film interactions between one another. And a faithist should look at that and say, these are people who are letting the flesh, they are letting the lower vibration just drag them down, man, to where the light can't even be seen anymore. Ain't no such thing as the light nowhere near around any of these people. It's all about me. It's all about money and all about being offended and my feelings. And you just said this and that. And all the time is passing by. And the world is holding people in bondage. And it's no big deal. A faith that shouldn't look at the world that way. They should take heed, man. Give thanks that the Creator called you to be in the light, showing you how to redeem the time, develop an immunity to the lower vibration, the attacking lower vibration, and false gods of this world. Realizing that we are headed for the eternal spiritual realm, where these things that we go through now, then they will pay off in spades. Pay off in spades, man. You know, in the lower heavens, the same laws apply. In the lower heavens, man, the same laws applied with even greater clarity. How you like that? Being able to stand on your own with even greater clarity, man. So that's calling you to imagine what that's talking about. In the lower heavens, man, your ability to stand on your own, it is applied with even greater, you'll understand even more the importance of having laid a foundation of light while you were on the earth. Here is saying we're going to understand even greater. Remember how the OAHSPE says that, man, that's great. I feel a lot better now. Thank you, Jovi. Oh, thank you. Man, I feel a lot better. Thanks so much. In the lower heavens, the same laws applied with even greater clarity. Remember how the OAHSPE says that the real life is the afterlife? That's the real life. When newly arrived spirits, meaning Essenes, when they are received, they are given temporary nursing and care, but Jehovah's instruction through God is explicit. A nurse I provided for the newborn, but when he is grown, I command him to provide for himself, that he may be a glory in my kingdoms. By charity alone, you cannot raise man up. By charity alone. See, that's why that reminds me of that video of that brother who was feeding the homeless. he was doing two things, man, that he does not know about. He was feeding the homeless. The one thing the OAHSPE says that you should not do, if you're going to do charity, do it according to wisdom, man. Because if you do it and it's not according to wisdom, then you're making the problem worse. You're making the problem worse. And I was talking about that brother who was feeding the homeless, buying them hamburgers, buying them chicken, sandwiches, and hundreds of them at a time. And on top of that, he was feeding them meat. He was doing two things. And he felt he was, and I reached out to him to try to get him to look at the OAHSPE in hopes that he might be able to hear it and receive it. When you get a person like that and they build up works like that, it's hard to get them to look. It's hard to get them to see anything other than the good they believe they're doing. It's hard to break them, man. They won't listen to no wisdom. Now I say that hoping I'm wrong, man. He's got it on video, all the good works he's doing. He's feeding the homeless, he's feeding them meat. And I'm sure he just thinks the world of himself, man. He's doing a great job, and he, being a good Christian and in principle, that's great, man. You're benevolent minded. You want to give. You're almost there, man. But if you don't do it according to knowledge, it's like you build your house and you tearing it down at the same time, man. By charity alone, you cannot raise man up. Those people who are benefiting off of him feeding them, they're going to be right back tomorrow looking for him, counting on him while not raising themselves up. Wow, the world is a trip, man. By charity alone, you cannot raise man up. But be diligent to teach him to try to continually raise himself. For herein lieth the glory of manhood. Now it's 6:00. It's time for me to get to the study. So if you want, you can read this. I can scroll it. You can stop the screen. You can read it. It's 6:00. It's time for the study. You can read this rest of this if you want to. It's basically going to embellish on the point of the importance of being able to stand on your own according to what you believe, according to knowledge, because it has an impact both here on the earth and in the spiritual. We got to realize we living in a situation where the world don't care. I hate to sound harsh, man. We faith this, man. That's one of the things my channel is dedicated to. I know I say a lot of things redundantly. I know, but I'm going to keep on saying it, man, while I'm on the earth. I know that we all are going to get to a point where we realize it's just like you hear some people who are famous, they did the hard work when they were younger, and then they reap the benefits when they're there on TV, famous, and they're really handsomely compensated for the things they went through. Don't tell me it's any different with the Creator. I know in my heart now, I know we don't do things to be, I think we know about the honor and the glory to come for faiths as we continue to walk this light, this path. I know that in your heart, you brethren know of the honor and the glory to come. Why? Because matter of fact, look, it says it even right here. The Creator, he uses that word for us, glory, honor. He actually mentions those words in the OAHSPE. If you want to see what honor looks like, I mean, just look at look at, when somebody wins the championship, that's called glory. The whole world applauds what they've done, and trying to use an example you already know of what you should know in your heart, man. We're called to something much greater. You know, I don't want to make it sound like, remember that what we talked about the other day on video, I was sharing about how Fragapati, he went to Hoab's kingdom. Hoab, when he was a false god, his kingdom, it was stagnated, you know. And he went to him and said, man, there's much better, much better, you know. They were stagnated, remember? He wanted to show him much better, much greater. That's, you know, faith is you, brethren, you know that, you know. We are on a path that it's a shame the whole world is going to have to look on and regret that they took the time and they were unable to find the light. They were unable to find it, man. They were tied to the earth. Their flesh was too strong. And it is true, man. Most of the earth, they walk right past the light. They walk right past it, man. It passes them by. I'm late. I wanted to get to the study. I'm late. So anyway, you can read this. And it's basically just going to um, just emphasize the importance of us as individuals, meaning we're able to stand, even if nobody will go with this, man. We know we believe the Creator, the OAHSPE, it gives us enough of a foundation. We know what's right, man. We know what is good and what is right, and we just continue on that path. And then the Creator, he give us along the way, he give us dessert, meaning he give us extra understanding about particular situations that we live in. So I'm late. Let's get to the study. The name of the study is Premature Birth. Premature birth, man. How do you like that? Premature birth. The OAHSPE, it deals with premature birth, man. You know, premature birth. Oh, premature birth. I find this interesting, man. The Creator just gave it to me all of a sudden. A lot of times, if you look at my channel, I have a lot of videos scheduled, and I never get to them because the Creator, he give me something at sometimes at the last minute, sometimes the day before, sometimes 2 days before. And then he'll confirm it. He'll have somebody call me or somebody talk to me, and they'll confirm what I'm going to talk about. Premature birth, man. The name of the video is called Premature Birth. Now, before I even get into it, in your mind, what do you think I'm going to talk about? What do you think I'm going to talk about in your own mind? Anyone who sees this video, what do you think I'm going to possibly talk about? You probably already have a good idea. Before I even get started, what do you think I'm going to talk about? Premature birth. Before I get started, premature birth. I've already got a little bit on the screen to give you a little idea. Premature birth. According to OAHSPE, the importance of making full and purposeful use of one's time while on earth, what the biblical phrasing calls redeeming the time, is foundational to the entire plan of spiritual resurrection and progression. The corporeal life is not a mere prelude or temporary testing ground that can be treated lightly. It is the period in which the soul establishes grade, density, purity, and readiness that determines its starting place and length of stay and rate of ascent in the atmospherean heavens after death. Now, we live in a reality, this is not important to hardly anyone. That's the amazing thing. You know, these messages, man, the Creator, what He's giving us now, the light, it's the equivalent of us holding a big pot of gold and people standing all around us and not asking us where we got it from or if we will give them some. That's the equivalent spiritually of where we are right now. Premature birth, man. Everything that follows in the lower heavens, meaning atmosphere, and the eventual possibility of rising into the emancipated Ethereal world is shaped by what is begun and accomplished while still in the flesh. Isn't that something? Isn't that something, man? You know how we live in the world? Every time, I mean, you know, my world pretty much centers around YouTube because even after around 3 years now of being in the OAHSPE, I cannot get it out of my mind how people can just take their life and give it to the earth, give it to the world. You could take your whole life and give it to the earth. A faithist knows what I mean when I say that. And I can't get over it. It's one of the biggest stumbling blocks. I just cannot get over it, how you can live on the earth, you can be in consciousness, and the spiritual don't grab you. Now, I'm sure it grabs people, but the logic, the sense, the irrefutable information of the Creator, how it can be so disregarded. I cannot get over that. Everything that follows in the lower heavens, atmosphere, and the eventual possibility of rising into the emancipated Ethereal worlds, look at this, is shaped by what is begun and accomplished while still in the flesh, corpora. Now, everybody in the world will agree if you work for something, you deserve it. Everybody will agree to that. Everybody will agree to that. The thing with the Creator, not only do He call us to work for it, but He gives us the ability to do it. The Creator gives you the ability and the knowledge so that it don't even seem like work. The knowledge of knowing where we live, we know what darkness is, we know what deception is, we know who false gods are, we know about the level, the plateaus of the higher heavens, we know what's headed, what we're headed for, we know what goes on in the spiritual realm. Not to sound like we're better than anybody, the opportunity is open for anybody. And it begins right here on the earth, man, you know? A faith that says, man, I might as well get busy now. You either get busy now or you get busy later, and it could take much longer later. You don't want to threaten anybody, but it's still the truth. And I'm not willing to find out whether or not it's wrong because I believe it What we do on the world is shaped by what is begun and accomplished. What we do while rising, the possibility of rising to the emancipated Ethereum worlds. Remember the Ethereum worlds? Where they can pull a root beer vegan milkshake out of the air. You know, the Ethereum worlds, man. You know, that is the aim. And there are worlds above that, from what I understand. If you could, you know, I'm talking about glory, man. You know, I'm talking about a better reality for all of us. It exists, it's real, and faithists know about it. And the terrible shame is they chase it right now while the whole world let it pass them by. Let the light pass you right on by, man. Ethereal worlds shaped by what is begun and accomplished while still in the flesh. Jehovah created the earth as a harvester of souls. A corporal body is given so that man may learn corporal things. Death is provided so that the spirit may rise and inherit the Ethereal worlds. The spirit does not leap directly from earth life into the highest heavens. That's a common lie of Christianity. You know, you leave the earth, you go right into the high, you go right up to the throne of Jesus Christ, you know. Right up to the throne, man, you know. The spirit does not leap directly from earth life into the highest heavens. It must pass through graded plateaus of atmosphere, regions of differing density that travel with the earth. The lowest, densest plateau nearest the earth are the natural first abode of newly deceased spirits. How long the spirit remains there in the first plateau, how long a spirit remains there, that's something the world doesn't care about. How long a spirit remains in the first plateau. Now, I happen to think that married faithists, they go to a better part of the first plateau. I think they go to a better part of the first plateau where they stay with their children while their children are on the earth. I could be wrong, but that's what I believe. I don't think that faithists and unenlightened spirits go to the same place. In the lowest plateau, I don't think they go to the same place. Correct me if I'm wrong. How long a spirit remains there in the lowest plateau, how readily it adapts, and how quickly it becomes eligible for the second and third resurrections depend directly on the habits, desires, diet, service, and spiritual focus cultivated during mortal life. The Book of Judgment states the governing principle plainly. The same rules apply whether on earth or in heaven. One's grade is measured by the proportion of service given to versus service given to others. That's one thing about them videos, man, that just make me shake my head. People demanding to be served, demanding other people serve them, demanding to be served, man, you know? Demanding you to serve me. He who serves only himself stands at grade 1, on or near the earth. He who serves himself 3/4 and others 1/4 stands at grade 25. Equal service yields grade 50, midway. Greater service yields progressively higher grades up to grade 99. The highest atmospheric preparation for entrance among the pure, good work among the pure. Good works alone are not enough for the highest grades. Good works alone are not enough. Knowledge and the capacity to unfold and lift others are also required. Knowledge and capacity to talk to a person, tell them where they are according to the light so that they can help themselves. Knowledge is needed to do that. But we live in a world where if your outward works are good enough, then it shuts down all critical thinking. Everything, then you're on the right road, man. Long as you're doing good, it don't matter what you believe. Long as you're giving, long as you're sacrificing yourself, it don't, knowledge don't really matter. Don't, not according to the OAHSPE. Remember again, that man, they would look at him and say, man, he is really doing a great work. He's feeding all them people. They're homeless, That is great what he's doing. In principle, it is. But wait until he finds out, man, judgment is falling on you for two reasons. You are giving without knowledge. You are exacerbating the problem of homelessness. And you are lowering the density of people by feeding them meat. You're lowering their density, man. You thought you did good. You were proud of yourself. You patted yourself on the back. You put it on the internet so people can see what a great guy you are. But it's working against you. Good works alone are not enough for the highest grades. Knowledge and the capacity to unfold and lift others are also required. The righteous who are still mortal, therefore, begin at once. While still mortal, while they on the earth, the righteous who are still mortal begin at once the labor of lifting their fellows. For that labor strengthens the spirit exactly as exercise strengthens the mortal body. You see these bodybuilders, when they start seeing results, it becomes addictive. Bodybuilding, when people start seeing results, man, it becomes addictive. When they see their body taking shape, it's the same way in the spiritual, man. The Creator, he tells you that template, what righteousness is. He tells you the rewards of it. He tells you how it plays out in the spiritual. And then there's a witness in your soul that the angels, the influences you come under, testifying. Man, you are really redeeming the time. Stay on this path. Stay on it, man. Don't be discouraged because doesn't seem like you're not bearing any fruit. In the end, you are the only one you stand on your own. Nobody else plays a part in our resurrection. Only you. Only you. We'll help you. The angels say, hey, man, we're here. We'll help you. We'll guide you. We'll influence you. Try to influence you. It's important for you to listen, man, and take the time and redeem it, man. No matter whether you think it's large or small, just take the time. A person is thus invited to judge while still living. Oh, it took it away from me. Let's get it back. It's trying to take away. Okay. A person is thus invited to judge while still living the place to which the spirit will rise at death. You see how no one can blame anybody, A person is thus invited, we're invited to think, to judge for ourselves while we're still living. We're here on the earth. Where will I land? Where will I land in the spiritual? A decisive passage in the synopsis of 16 cycles makes the point even more explicit. Those who commence putting away self and serving Jehovah while they are yet in corpore are not born into the spirit world before their full time. Let's sit and think about this a second. Check out this statement. A decisive passage in the synopsis of 16 cycles makes the point even more explicit. Those who commence putting away the self and serving Jehovah while they are yet in corpore, meaning on the earth, and not born into the spirit, are not born into the spirit world before they're full time. How do you like that? Think about that. Chew on that for a second. Faithists are not born into the spirit world before our full time, meaning when we leave, that was the limit we were supposed to reach. That was the limit we were supposed to reach before we're taken. We are meant to reach that limit and then we go. But, or no, it continues. It says, meaning faithists who start to get busy while on the earth, it says they arrive with a maturity already begun. That's the miracle of the faithist. That's the miracle of the faithist, man. You know, I wish I could give an analogy for the earth. It's kind of like somebody is born on the earth with special abilities or talents. And they're at a young age. Like you get some kids, they're 3 or 4 years old and they already got the encyclopedia memorized. That's pretty much, I think, saying the same thing here. You know how you got children on the earth and they're born with abilities, They have abilities, They're advanced. Creator's saying the same thing, the mystery of faith is, we arrive in the spirit realm with a maturity already begun. There's some type of maturity to us. But by contrast, there are others not of full birth who, while still in the corporeal form, look at this, have never begun to triumph in spirit over their own flesh. Therefore, their entry into spirit life is premature relative to their development. Look at this. They require longer seasons of purification. They require longer. It should only make sense, man, based on our knowledge of OAHSPE. Those who arrive who do not begin to make the resurrection on the earth. By contrast, there are others not of full birth. They leave the earth not of full birth, who, while still in the corporal form, in the body, have never begun to triumph in spirit over their own flesh. Subject to the anger, the jealousy, the selfishness, the vainglory, the me, the lack of serving others, only serving yourself. Their entry into spirit life is premature relative to their development. They require longer seasons of purification, instruction, and weaning from earthly attachments and low desires. The length of time spent in the lowest plateau is initially set by the diet, desires, and behavior of the earth life. The total duration is then determined by how quickly the spirit adapts once in the unseen worlds. Flesh-eating, self-centered living, dark dots, isolation, and failure to seek Jehovah keep the spirit dense and earthbound, attracting like conditions and companions, meaning druges, fetals, and other undeveloped entities. Purity of flesh and spirit, service, affiliation, and the organic brotherhoods, patterned after the heavenly kingdoms and conscious striving toward the Creator, while still mortal, lighten the spirit and open the way for more rapid ascent. In the present cosmic era, the emphasis is sharpened still further. The time allotted for the maturing of pure corpor, meaning materiality, has ended. The time allotted for the maturing of pure corporal materiality has ended. The era is now for the maturing of spirituality. So interesting. This is saying that we should have reached a material maturity now. We know what the golden rule is: do unto others. We know that we're not here forever. We know what righteousness is. We know the body taught us. We see it in the world. That's materiality. The era is now for the maturing of the spirit. That's why we have this information now. We had the OAHSPE. I'm sure there's more to come. Mortals are to develop themselves so they can know by their own knowledge and practice what they know. That's where faithists have a head start. We at a point where we should be learning our individuality, what we really believe in the light and about the Creator and what He tells us according to our inner light, and then to follow it. We should, each of us individually, be learning about what that means. Now, I would like to know where the power comes in. I would like to know where the power, meaning the ability to change the weather, to put down evil influences 100%, to learn what I don't know. Now, that might not be for this reality. I'm interested in the power as well, man. You know, the power of myself over my spirit, and to bless my soul with good thoughts and good, being under a constantly good vibration. OAHSPE itself is given so that mortals may learn how to attain to hear the Creator's voice. OAHSPE itself is given so that mortals may attain to hear the Creator's voice and to see His heavens in full consciousness while still living on the earth, and thereby know of a truth, the place and condition awaiting them after death. To know of a truth, man. That's the assurance the whole world is looking for. That's the assurance right there, man. The opportunity of the corporal lifetime is therefore not merely to avoid evil or to pass years harmlessly. Bide your time, you know. It's not to avoid evil or drag on. It is the appointed season in which the soul is to begin the work of self-abnegation, purification, service, and conscious affiliation with Jehovah's Kingdoms. See, all these things, man, they go into whether we are prematurely born or we are not. Premature birth is when you're on the earth and you are connected to the earth. You stay connected to the earth and its vibration, the materiality, self focus. Earth is the appointed season in which the soul is to begin the work of self abnegation, purification service, and conscious affiliation with Jehovah's Kingdoms. Those who waste or ignore, oh shoot, did it to me again. Those who waste or ignore this season arrive in the lower heavens still heavily weighted with the very conditions they must later laboriously outgrow, prolonging their sojourn among the dense regions and delaying their emancipation to the higher, freer world. See that right there? That's OAHSPE right there. That's a valid statement. That's one thing that I know faith is keeping their mind. I know I do. That is one thing. That's where you get my attention, man. You get my attention. And I hope it gets yours, man. Read this again. Read this again, man. Those who waste or ignore this season, this time on earth, arrive in the lower heavens. They arrive in the lower heavens, still heavily weighted. How would you like to, while you're on earth, carry around 300 pounds on your shoulders? Those who waste or ignore this season, I know, I'm sorry, it sounds harsh. Those who waste or ignore this season arrive in the lower heavens still heavily weighted with the very conditions that must be laboriously outgrown. Laboriously outgrown. Look, prolonging their sojourn among the dense regions and delaying their emancipation into the higher, freer worlds. You certainly, if you tell me I got to do it again, you'll get my attention, man. You will get my Yaquab. Hey, I'm sorry, you got to do that all over again. You will get my attention, man. I'm here. I'm on the earth. I don't want to do well. I'm not going to do it again. None of us are going to do it again. And so I'm just like you, brethren. If you're telling me that I got one shot to do something that will benefit me forever, what do you think I'm going to do? You see? I hope it's the same for you. Thus the importance of redeeming the time while on earth. According to OAHSPE, is redeeming the time while on earth, according to OAHSPE, is that thus the importance of redeeming the time while on earth, according to OAHSPE, is that this is the one period in which the foundational grade is set by free choice and daily practice. You know what I mean? You can talk to anybody, man. You know, it's a shame. The flesh, it takes people away. You know, maybe you got somebody, they're very beautiful, you know, and most of the women on those videos I've seen, they're very beautiful. You know, they're very attractive in the world's eyes, you know. And those women, they know it. They know it. And they internalize it that the world is their oyster. And in that way, the world takes them away. And men too. Maybe they have a lot of money. They have a great job or position or in the world. It's the same for them, man. It's the same for them, you know. You can be taken away. The power of the world, the power of the flesh. That's what you see every day, man. That's why I cannot stop looking at those videos. The power of the earth. The power of the president, he's the same with him, man. He's leading this whole nation into a train wreck. And we are surely headed for a train wreck. It just don't seem so now. We are headed for a train wreck for your serious behind. And he's content to just kick the can down the road. It's not happening today or next week, and that's good enough for him. You know, if I may digress for a second, I heard someone who's in the inner circle, word got out that President Trump, every night, he calls his donation manager. He calls his donation manager. Now, the donation manager is the one whom oversees his donations. They oversee his donations. And he calls his donation manager every night. And he has only a couple of questions. He says, who cut the checks and how much did they donate? Every night, his donation manager, he asked them who cut the checks, which companies cut the check, and for how much. It don't matter that the whole world is getting ready to feel it. It don't matter. Here's a man with all the power in the world. He gets on the phone every night to his donation manager, and all he cares about is which companies have cut the check, how much did they pay, how much did they donate, and he tells her to ask them to donate more. Now, I say that to say this. That's the power of the earth to take you away. That is the power of the earth. When you are tied to the earth, man, and the things of the earth, and we live in a whole world, small, large and small, man, a world we live in. Faith this. We live in that world. I'm sorry to emphasize the point, but one thing I'm going to do before I leave this earth, it's going to be, I am going to make sure that I emphasize to the best of my ability the opportunity to learn the OAHSPE, the light, to be in the light, the knowledge to make the resurrection, and to warn against false gods and the pull of the world. Because people are going to learn too late. There's going to be regret in the spiritual. Why do you think people are going to, why do you think they're going to turn to seek the light, the resurrection eventually? It takes regret to do that. You have to see the situation, and then you have to want to change it. It's regret. There's a form of regret, man, you know? Thus, the importance of redeeming the time while on earth, according to OAHSPE, is that this is the one period in which the foundational grade is set by free choice and daily practice. Every act of service versus self-service, every choice of purity versus contamination of flesh and thought, every effort to put away the beast, the self, and to live for others and for Jehovah is building the exact spiritual condition that the soul will carry across the threshold of death. How do you like that? How do you like that, man? How do you like that? Do you have time to hear this? Does anybody have time to hear this stuff? Or do we wait when we don't have no more time? You see that? Look at that statement. Look at that statement, man. Every effort to put away the beast self and to live for others and for Jehovah is building the exact spiritual condition that the soul will carry. Look at that. Across the threshold of death. The corporal years are the season of sowing. The atmospheric heavens are the first harvest and the beginning of the long ascent. To use those years fully for spiritual growth is to enter the next stage already advancing. To squander them is to enter it still in need of the most elementary redemption. I don't think any of us knows what it means fully, 100% what that means, but we can feel it. I know we can feel it. All right, what is premature birth according to the OAHSPE Part 2? According to OAHSPE, premature birth, more precisely described as being not a full birth, or being born in the spirit world before their full time, is a spiritual concept, not a reference to a physical premature birth of an infant in the ordinary medical sense. A premature birth, it describes the condition of a spirit that enters the atmospheric heavens, the lower spirit realm surrounding the earth upon physical death, without having first begun the essential process of spiritual maturation, while still inhabiting a corporeal body. The core teaching. In synopsis of 16 candles, Jehovah states, for as much as they commenced putting away self and serving me while they were yet in corporate, this talking to you faithists. For as much as they commenced putting away self and serving me while they were yet in corporate, so were they not born in the spirit world. Or no, wait a minute, this is talking about non-faithists. It's talking about people who are not faithists. For as much as they commenced putting away self and serving me while they were yet in corpore, so were they not born in spirit. Okay, wait a minute. No, it is talking about faithists. It is talking about faithists. For as much as they commenced putting away self and serving me while they were yet in corpore, so were they not born in the spirit world before their full time. The Creator, he said, it's like he's saying, all right, you're choosing to serve me, you're choosing to be a faithist, practice faithism. I'm going to give you your full allotment of time. I'm not going to cheat you 1 second of the day. I'm going to give you your full allotment for your full benefit. And yet there are others not of full birth who have not in the flesh, in the body, begun to triumph in spirit over their own flesh. The accompanying clarification explains that those not of full birth are spirits who die. They are born into spirit life before the full time in the corporal body has been completed in the spiritual sense. The corporal life is treated as a gestational period for the spirit. Death is the actual birth of the spirit into the unseen worlds. Just as a physical infant needs adequate time in the womb to develop property, the spirit needs full opportunity of mortal life to begin mastering its lower nature. What constitutes full birth? All right, what constitutes full birth? Full birth occurs when a person, while still alive in the flesh, has already started the decisive work of putting away the self, renouncing selfish desires, ego, and self-centered living, serving Jehovah above all other things, beginning to triumph in spirit over the flesh, meaning the spirit starts gaining mastery over corporal appetites like passions and material attachments. Those who begin this process while still mortal arrive in the spirit world already partially prepared. Their transition is timely. They are not premature. Their spirit has already taken the first steps of the first resurrection while still in the body. So they enter the lower heavens with a greater capacity, lighter density, and less bondage. That's not really important to the world. That's a shame. By contrast, those who never begin this inner work while alive, no matter how long they live physically, experience a premature spiritual birth. Their spirit is still heavily weighted with the habits, denseness, and self-orientation of the untransformed flesh. They enter the atmospheric heavens incomplete relative to the purpose for which corporal life was given. You know, this is pretty this is it's a shame, man. You know, that's the way it is. Practical consequences in the heavens. OAHSPE describes specialized provisions for such spirits. Young Essenes, meaning those who are newly crossed over into the spirit world. Essene nurseries and hospitals are established specifically for spirits of infants that should be. Infants are not Essenes. Essenes are more like people. Infants are more like, I forget. They're not. They're the newborns are not Essene spirits. I mean, technically. All newly deceased spirits, called Essenes, meaning newborn in heaven, experience a period of spiritual infancy. In early heavenly organizations, this was commonly allotted as about 5 years of nursing and basic education, though many required considerably longer depending on their preparation. And, you know, a quick word about this, from what I understand reading the OAHSPE, you get people who were in the world and they were tyrants and they mistreated people all their life and they had power. They get nursed and taught. And of their own will, they start to correct the things that they did while on the earth. Of their own will, of their own will, of their own will. It's not like they get whipped into shape, although they still inherit rough conditions according to their grade. They go to what the realm of the spirit that their grade requires. But they still are taught and they turn on their own. Anyone who is in the lower realms, they still have to turn on their own before they make the resurrection. They don't get forced. They have to turn on their own through teaching, through the angel showing them. It's like they still have to go through what they have to endure what they have made, what the reality they have created for themselves. But they are taught and they eventually turn themselves. It's like they accept what they have done and they begin the resurrection process. And, you know, spirits who die as actual infants, stillborn, or through abortion lack objective knowledge of the corporal world. They often remain fetal, attached and drawing sustenance upon living mortals until those mortals often die, also die. Well, being fetal is not reincarnation. Adults who arrive without having begun spiritual mastery over flesh likewise require extended periods of care. Okay, so they got it right here. They receive extended periods of care, instruction. They receive, look, purification and gradual weaning from earthly attractions before they can progress into organized labor and higher grades. So it's not like they get whipped into shape like here on earth, and how the earth says the way to reform a man is to beat the hell out of him. That's not the case in the spiritual. They receive extended periods of care, instruction, purification, and gradual weaning from earthly attractions. People who don't make the resurrection while on earth. The density and condition of the newly arrived spirit are determined by diet, desires, thoughts, degree of service. All right, so we covered all that. Connection to the purpose of earth life. And so pretty much we're going to be covering the same things. So I'm almost at the end so I can go through it. Connection to the purpose of earth life. This teaching is inseparable from OAHSPE's larger view that the corporal body is a temporary womb, provided so that the spirit may learn corporal things and, more importantly, begin the resurrection process while still in the body. Death is not the start of spiritual life. It is the birth of the spirit that has already been developing or failing to develop within the physical form. To die without having commenced the triumph of spirit over flesh is therefore to be born into the next stage of existence prematurely, incomplete, dependent, requiring far more remedial work in the lower heavens. In the cosmic era, the emphasis is intensified. The time for maturing pure materiality has ended. And the present season is for maturing spiritually while still living. The opportunity of mortal life is the appointed window in which the soul is meant to initiate its upward course. Failing to use that window results in a condition OAHSPE calls not being a full birth. Thus, premature birth in OAHSPE is the spiritual state of arriving in the afterlife without having used a corporal lifetime to begin putting away the self and establishing the first foundation of resurrection. It is a direct counterpart of to the teaching on redeeming the time while on earth. The earthly years exist precisely so that this beginning can be made, ensuring the birth in the spirit life occurs at full term rather than prematurely. All right, so I made it through that. Oh, I got time for a couple of readings for the Gospel of Thomas. It's top of the hour. I'm going to end the video in a few minutes. If anyone is here and you want to say something, put a 1 in the chat. Oh, and I will give you the mic when I come into the chat. All right. Let me make sure I have the Gospel of Thomas on the screen. So I'm going to just read a couple from the Gospel of Thomas. I've been covering this. And it's been real interesting, man. The Gospel of Thomas has just been really, really interesting. If I can ever find where I'm at. I think I'm at saying number 48. It's 114 sayings. Oh, nope. Don't tell me I made the same mistake. Yep, I did. I did not upload the other sayings. Oh, man, that was the problem I had last time. Oh, I blew it again, man. Oh, that was the problem I had last time. Yep, I didn't upload the second part. I didn't upload the second part, man. Yep, I forgot to I have not uploaded the second part yet. Okay, that means school will be out early then. How about that? Oh man, I forgot to upload the second part. Okay, let me go to the chat, see if anyone's in there so I can close the video. Guess I can end it early. I forgot to upload the second part. Okay, let's see. Of course. All right, Brother Matt and his wife was in here. Thank you for joining me, Elijah and Trisha. All right, brethren, thank you for joining me. I didn't, I got, man. Oh man, I forgot to upload the second part of the Gospel of Thomas. Okay, that's all right. I'll get it next time. Make sure I get it. All right. Again, the video commentary or the commentary section of the video, bunch of free stuff, bunch of information there. OAHSPE 6-volume set, and the Books of Prison Ministry links there in case you want the OAHSPE or the 6-volume set. You get in contact with me. And all right, so I don't think that there's anything I'm forgetting. So I want to take the time to thank the Creator, Jehovah, and to thank you for the opportunity to do this video and to try to do my best to share from the light and to emphasize the importance of the time that you have given us to make the resurrection while we are living in a world that is preoccupied with itself, In addition to that, on the horizon, there is great trouble on our horizon. And Jehovah, I just pray for the faithless that we are given wisdom and knowledge and protection and endurance, and that a door is open for us to share with the world the only hope for mankind, to share with the world the only hope for mankind, which is your light. Right now, the world is in a low spiritual grade and sleeping. And it seems that without some intervention, that the harvest will be very, very little. And so, Jehovah, I know that you will do what is best for all mankind. And I thank you for that. Thank you for the video. And I ask that you will be with us until the next video. We'll give thanks in your name, so let it be. All right, that does it, brethren. Thank you for joining me. And until I see you again on video, Creator willing, peace be unto you. Thank you for joining me. Shalom.